Did I miss sessions? Yes. Did I miss some of my targeted mileage goals and time on feet goals? Time on the bike goals, right? I did. Was I consistent waking up at 4 a.m., dad hours every morning? I wasn't. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's David. I'm just trying to be the best dad ever, and I'm just, trying to share my story, share my journey. Hopefully have some lessons and wisdom that I can share with my kids, but also share it with you guys along the way. In this video, I'm talking about my first phase of my marathon training, the first 4 weeks. Today's the start of the 5th week, and I am warmed up, getting ready to start my first run of the week. But before that, I wanted to quickly get this video done so I can wrap up making the video. I just wanted to talk about and recap the first 4 weeks of my training, the biggest lessons I've learned, and give you the highs, the lows, the honest feedback, both from training and from life, life with toddlers, life with, the responsibilities of being a busy dad, trying to chase big goals while keeping my family first and my faith a close second. I know I'm pretty sure I talked about it, but like during this marathon block, I've also committed to doing a Bible reading plan. And currently right now I'm working through Gospels. I finished Matthew because I spent a lot of time on the bike, and now I'm working on Mark. Came back from vacation, first week, the week of Christmas. I got 10 miles in. Wasn't really planning it as my first week of marathon training because I was just recovering from the trip, the time change, the sleep patterns. The week of New Year was the first week officially. I think December 29th. I was planning to hit 28 miles. I got 22 miles in. Week 2 planned of 32 miles. I got 30. And then week 3 planned 36 miles. I got 32 miles. Each of those 4 weeks, basically I've hit 5 hours on the bike, but I've ramped it up from 5 to 6.5 to 7, and then to 8 hours. So I've increased the bike every single week. The mileage jump felt gnarly. Going from basically 0 to 32 in 4 weeks was pretty aggressive. So I felt it. I felt niggles. I felt tightness in hip flexors, my calves, my hamstrings. That translates over to normal life. Felt tired at the end of the day when, nighttime routines going on, you feel the struggle. Double days were missed because of that. Imagine getting a quality run in and then doing a 90-minute bike ride session, taking care of all these toddlers, taking them out at parks and all that, right? Like at the end of the day, pretty wiped. So I sacrificed a lot of strength sessions. I'm only, looking to hit a maximum of 2 strength sessions per week. And honestly, I haven't hit 2 per week at all. I've only hit like 2 strength sessions overall in the past 4 weeks. That's something I'm looking to change going forward, but we'll see. Talking about all this volume, obviously sleep and recovery are non-negotiables, and those are some of the key lessons that I've learned. It's not the biggest lesson that I've learned, but I'm gonna dive into some of the lessons that I've, really opened my eyes to in the last 4 weeks, right? And they're all tied together, right? As we talk about how sleep and recovery is so crucial, right? It ties back into, sleep being the number one performance lever, right? If you are not sleeping well, then it shouldn't be a priority for you to wake up at 4 a.m. If you're going to sleep at 11 p.m. and waking up at 4, getting only 5 hours of sleep, right? That's not good enough of a recovery stimulus for having an early session be your priority, right? So you have to learn and work around your sleep schedule, really readjust, your habits at night to really support your goals. For me, I'm accountable for that, right? And because I knew some of my nights were tougher, meaning I had to deal with toddlers, meaning I had to catch up on my responsibilities, I missed sessions, and I'm okay with that, right? And I'm okay with it because I've allowed myself to be adaptable and flexible because I've baked in such a huge volume of zone 1 biking as an alternative to develop the aerobic base. So that's another learning that I've had in this, first 4 weeks, is that bike volume is my cheat code, right? So if I miss a run session and then timing doesn't allow me to do so, I'm still always afforded a 2-hour window during their nap time to be productive, right? So I can maybe squeeze in 1 hour of biking and 1 hour of productivity in terms of like cooking, chores around the house, whatever it may be, right? So that really gives me a leeway to be, conservative or aware of how I'm feeling, be flexible to changes, right? So bike volume is a huge cheat code. And then that segues into my findings and learnings about deload week. I was not really planning to have any deload week because I felt like I'd be strong enough to continually progress. But a lot of these more established running plans, whether it's Fitzinger or Jack Daniels, Hal Higdon, you know, these big names in the running space, all their running plans and protocols really have a common similarity between all of them at the novice and intermediate levels, is that, you know, throughout the structure of the 18, 16, 20-week plan, whatever it may be, every 3 or 4 weeks, there will be a deload week where you taper back about 30 to 40% of your mileage, just to let the body adapt and recover and really build those adaptations before you hit the next big block of increased mileages, right? So I made week 4 my deload because I was aware of my body. I was aware of how I was feeling, and I knew I needed the break. So in, you know, looking for all of my, you know, training plans and looking through all of my data, you know, I realized that, hey, I did need a deload week. Let's build that into week 4. I, you know, reshuffled through the way I planned my structure of my marathon block, and then, you know, gave myself a week where I did only 18 miles total of running. You know, that's more than 40% decrease. Exactly a 43.75% change mileage decrease from week 3. So it felt like a great deload week. I was able to squeeze in a few strength sessions. I still got my all-time high on bike volume. So my aerobic base was preserved, and I'm looking to hit week 5 really strong, really refreshed, and, you know, just hit all my committed targets early on in the week to, you know, really build that foundation to finish strong. And that leads me into things I want to focus on. I want to focus on consistency. Consistency tops perfection, right? For me, someone like me, I'm always thinking about perfection, right? Like if I don't wake up on time and I don't get my nutrition or electrolytes in by 4:15 a.m., I'm not going to get out to my run by 4:30, and then it makes me miss a whole session. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm, you know, like, hey, if I wake up 5 minutes late, so be it. You know, like getting out on the road and being consistent is more important than being perfect by the time, or perfect than how you wake up and how you execute, right? So I'm going to look to stack consistency rather than perfection. And then I'm going to make it more of a concerted effort to tie faith into my trainings. As a father, it is tough. It is tough to manage, you know, your priority that is raising and taking care of your kids, and then balancing a marathon plan while balancing trying to make a living as a trader early in the mornings. It's a lot, but I'm a lean on the strength of our Lord and Savior, and, you know, continue to strengthen that relationship as my training progresses, as the training becomes more demanding, as you know, consistency and time and commitment becomes more demanding, right? Like I'm gonna need all the strength I have, and yeah, faith and training goes hand in hand together. Resting too. Resting and deloading goes hand in hand with faith. But anyways, you know, like which ties me into faith, right? This last part, which I think is the most important part, which is faith. You know, as I work through the Gospels, as I work through Matthew and Mark in my Bible plan for the year, a lot of things stuck out to me, right? In Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." See, I've realized that training isn't about just breaking yourself down, beating yourself up with high intensities until you're laying on the floor, grasping for breath, right? And, you know, for me, I ignored the rest for a minute, right? Like I didn't initially plan to have deload weeks, and I was carrying that burden of performance and progress all alone, and I wanted to hit numbers and goals. And that's when the word really hit me, right? My burden is light. Recovery became an act of faith rather than, you know, something that is seen as friction or an obstacle towards my goals. It is a supplement and a multiplier or a lever to hit my goals later on down the road. So that became kind of a mindset shift. Trusting that God let me and designed my body to grow while resting and not just endlessly pushing. And then as I progress into Mark, Jesus tells his disciples, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." You know, like I was grinding on 32 miles on week 3, and I was like, man, you know, like my body's feeling it. But just like in Mark 6:31, his disciples, they were exhausted from ministry. Just like I feel exhausted some days, you know, when toddlers have meltdowns and you miss some of your training and you took a loss in New York, right? So yeah, we're only 4 weeks in, and my longest run has only been 12 miles so far. But the plan is working, and I have full faith. Full faith in the plan, full faith in myself, full faith in God, full faith in everything in life. But yeah, just sticking to it, finishing strong. As a husband, as a father, a man of faith, right? We're only 4 weeks in, but if you're a busy dad chasing goals, drop some of your lessons in life that you've learned. I would love to hear it from you guys. Sleep hacks, any tricks during deload weeks and taper weeks. I would love to hear it from you guys. Like this video, if this kind of encourage you guys to keep pushing. I know that, as the second month of 2026 looms, a lot of people do fall off of the New Year resolution bandwagon, and it's hard to pick ourselves back up, but it's not how we start, it's how we finish. So yeah, drop a few comments, like this video if you feel encouraged, subscribe for weekly updates, the good, the bad, the toddler interrupted. Thanks for watching. I gotta get ready to run my first easy week of the week 5. So, till then, look forward to talking to you on the next video.